After a real careful review of the fact-finding results and a lot of consideration of all of those values, I basically arrived that there was an error made here. The question that I had in front of me now was how to deal with that error. In the San Diego Fire Department, probably like most organizations, we had an application of a variety of different forms of discipline, everything from something equivalent to a slap on the wrist to termination. And along the way, those different levels of discipline can have some remarkably long-lasting effect on an individual's career. These were two good people. In fact, I was impressed with their ownership of their responsibility in this whole situation. They were accountable. They didn't shy away from it. They owned every bit of it. It was a true reflection, I thought, of their values. At the same time, I think they made an error. What we arrived at was writing them a reprimand, which was just short of a level of discipline that would have affected their careers, would have affected promotions, would have affected an awful lot of their future. And these were two good people. I didn't want to see that happen. In addition to that, we played the tape of the mother who called in that run and asked them to listen to it. There's a detachment out on that engine company from that contact with the people that called for that help. Needed them to hear that. And then we had a long conversation about ethics, about decision making, about trying to establish priorities. And in this particular case, making sure that when you deviate from a department policy, a department standard, that you've got a very strong defensible priority saying that that was the right thing to do. I've looked back on that decision that I made to deal with this circumstance quite a few times. And every time I feel comfortable that it was handled appropriately. I think we had a responsibility to the citizens to make sure that if we identified an error made, that it's dealt with, and we did. I think that we chose a course of action that made sure that the two individuals involved understood the error that was made and the responsibility they have for accountability to their actions and to the outcomes of what it is that they're responsible for. And I also believe that the message reaffirmed to the other members of the organization that we weren't simply looking for problems, and that when we found problems, we didn't feel it necessary to rewrite our standards and policies. We just had to take a look at the individual issue and determine if there was a right or wrong, and if there was a wrong, we worked to correct it and not undermine the expectation for that good performance out there and for that expectation of accountability.